Good evening. Hi guys. Whoever happens to be on here at 7:50 on a Tuesday evening when I'm coming to you live from the Lewiston Martins parking lot. Sitting here in my van on the way home from an event, and I wanted to hop on and do this live real quick before I get home and I'm home to all the craziness. So if you are on here with me tonight, just say hi in the comments. I'd love to know who is on and where you're hopping on from, if you're in Maine or somewhere else. And so just say hi in the comments so I can see who's here tonight. So as I said, I am sitting here in my van, my mom-mobile, in the Hey Betsy, in the Martins parking lot in Lewiston, and was reflecting on a news piece that I read today in the Bangor Daily News on an issue that affects us all, whether we know it yet or not. And so I was thinking about this issue, and I was thinking about the proper role of government as I zipped along in my very gas-powered automobile along main roads tonight. And so, hey Michael, thanks for hopping on tonight. And so I thought I would hop on and do a very quick little live and chat with you guys about an upcoming vote. And this is not a vote of the legislature. Nope. This is a vote of the Maine Board of Environmental Protections. So you guys might know where I'm going with this, given the title of my live and the entity that I'm talking about, this board. If you are, somebody's getting pulled over by a gasoline-powered vehicle. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about this rule that is currently before the Maine Board of Environmental Protections that is being considered and will be voted on December 21st. So coming right up on December 21st, the Maine Board of Environmental Protections is going to be voting on a rule that would say that Maine consumers are going to have limitations placed on what vehicles they can purchase. And so this rule that was proposed this summer, there was a public hearing on it, and hundreds of people turned out, hundreds of people gave testimony about this rule. This rule would say that as of 2027, 43% of the new cars coming into Maine have to be battery electric, plug-in hybrids, electric vehicles. So this proposed rule says 43% of model year 2027 that come into Maine are going to have to be electric vehicles. And then it also says that by 2032, by the year 2032, just 9 years away, almost 8 years away, that 82% of new car sales will have to be electric vehicles. Now, bear in mind that right now, as of this year, 6%, we are currently at 6% of new car sales in Maine are electric vehicles. So that's a long way to go. But what I wanted to touch on tonight, ever so briefly, is the proper role of government and how far away from that we are with this proposed rule. So, you know, what is the proper role of government in the context of, well, everything, but looking at it with this rule? The proper role of government is to defend citizens against loss of life, loss of property, loss of liberty. And this proposed rule is actually taking away our liberty. And so it's so ridiculous to me. I have a hard time believing that we're here in this place where there is actually a government agency with 7 board members who were put in this position by the governor, who are now going to potentially dictate to all of us what we have available to us to purchase from a car salesman, literally. Like that is the rule that is before them and that they're going to vote on December 21st. So it is mind-boggling to me, but we are there, and they are voting on this rule that will impact hundreds of thousands of Mainers around our state on December 21st. So I wanted to hop on here and say, That's not the proper role of government. It is not the role of government to say a certain percentage of new cars sold in Maine have to be electric vehicles. The market can settle that. And right now the market says that only 6% of new cars sold in Maine are electric vehicles. That says where Maine people are at, and that says what Maine people want, right? So if electric cars are great for Maine, then that will be reflected in the sales numbers, but we're not there. And so we don't need a government agency to dictate to us that indeed we're going to purchase 43% of our new vehicles sold in 2027, model year 2027, will be electric, and we certainly don't need them dictating that 82% of new vehicles sold in 2032 are going to be electric vehicles. So here's why I hopped on tonight real quick, is because I think a lot of Mainers agree with me on that, and that bore out from the number of people who testified against this rule and who don't want it to pass. So what can you, average Maine person, right? We're all just average Maine people. What can we all do to oppose this? Well, what can you do? Make your voice heard. And hopefully a lot of you who are on tonight already did make your voice heard back in August at the public hearing and in testimony. But there's another way to reach out and to tell the board members what you think of this potential rule that they're going to vote on the 21st. And that is to write a letter to the editor, submit it to your local paper, and let's flood the newspapers with letters to the editor and show the board members and the rest of our fellow Mainers that this is not a rule that we want. We want, and we should have, the choice to purchase the vehicle that we desire to purchase, and it is not the job of the Maine Board of Environmental Protections to dictate what we can and cannot buy in our state. So I will tell you guys the next logical leap here, right, is that you'd go, okay, well, if the rule is going to be that I have to buy an electric vehicle in Maine, and I don't want to buy an electric vehicle, and the one I want is not available, I'll just go to New Hampshire. Well, I will tell you guys, if this rule passes, there will be a bill before us in the legislature before too long that would say that not only do you have to buy an electric car, right, a certain percentage of electric cars have to be sold in Maine, but then there will be a bill before us, I guarantee it, that will say that if you buy a car from a state bordering Maine, that you will not be able to register it in Maine. So there is, sure, there's a workaround. It's inconvenient. You drive to another state, you pick up your car, and then bring it home in Maine, but then you wouldn't be able to register it. So it is best to nip this in the bud now, to tell the government their proper role, to tell the Maine Board of Environmental Protections, we don't want this rule. And the best way to do this at the moment is to write a letter to the editor and express that you do not want this rule to pass. The really, really silly thing is that this rule was put forward by a group of 150 people. 150 people out of the state of Maine signed this petition, and now a group of 7 people, none elected to public office. None of these 7 members of this board are elected. They were all put on this board by the governor, and so they are not. They can't be voted out. They can't simply be voted out. So it's really, really important that Mainers make their voice heard on this issue. And tell you what, if you watch this live and you write a letter to the editor, would you please send it to me, either unpublished before it even is published or after it's published? Send me the link. I would love to highlight your letter to the editor on my page and share these letters to the editor that I hope the members of the Environmental Protection Board, I hope they see them and they read them and they understand that this is the wrong way to go for Maine. The Mainers, we are perfectly capable of making our own choices, and we do not need the Maine Board of Environmental Protections to tell us what vehicles we can and cannot buy. So if you're on here tonight, I would love to see Rhonda, Nancy, Michael, Betsy, all of you who have hopped on here tonight, Anita, Elizabeth, I would love to see you guys write a letter to the editor with your thoughts about this rule and submit it to your local paper, and then share it with me. I would love to read your words and be able to share them with our fellow Mainers. So that's it. That's all I've got for you. The rule vote is coming up on the 21st. This is time sensitive. It is crazy. They're voting right before Christmas. And so it is important that we make our voices heard and shut this rule down. Crazy. Crazy. Proper role of government. Not telling you which automobiles you can buy in our state or what percentage of them you have to buy in our state. It is to defend its citizens against loss of property, loss of life, loss of liberty. And right here, they are actually doing the opposite. They are inciting loss of liberty. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will talk to you soon, and I hope to see lots of letters to the editor getting sent my way. Thanks so much.